So Dylan Mulvaney faces a massive backlash with ultra cringe news regarding the latest Broadway casting that has the internet in a total meltdown. Now, Broadway has officially destroyed after casting Dylan Mulvaney as Anne Boleyn in the musical Six. So this insane influencer Dylan Mulvaney is taking over a role meant to celebrate women's history starting this February. It's a disgusting slap in the face for every real woman, especially seeing Dylan Mulvaney get this. So giving a historical woman's role to a man like Dylan Mulvaney really is the opposite of honoring history. So basically, we're watching somebody displaying a mental illness being rewarded by unhinged theater producers who love Dylan Mulvaney. Okay, so this show is basically attacking reality because Dylan Mulvaney is now stepping into the shoes of a mother and queen who was executed. You see, Dylan Mulvaney will be singing pop songs for a woke audience in a role that belongs to a biological woman. The producers seem to think Dylan Mulvaney is some kind of progressive win, but he won't recover from this level of lying. You see, it exposes the fact that they have zero respect for history by putting Dylan Mulvaney in this position. And Dylan Mulvaney is really the final nail in the coffin for Broadway's credibility. So social media promoted the show that was even joked about the Queen's execution and stuff to hype this up, where they told fans that, you know, they're losing their heads over introducing Mulvaney to the new cast. So using a woman's death to promote a man playing her is incredibly disrespectful. And they're calling him a queen, erasing the reality of what a woman is. Okay, so the producers is leaning into the most radical, insane version of feminism imaginable today. So here's the particular clip in question. All right. Yeah, so honestly, I mean, most regular people realize that Women's History Month should actually involve actual biological women. So radical feminists used to care about women's spaces and opportunities being protected from men. Now the most extreme voices celebrate men cosplaying as women to steal their professional jobs. Even J.K. Rowling gets attacked because she refuses to accept this total erasure of womanhood. And this casting choice is a peak example of why the movement has actually lost its way. Okay, so right now I bet a lot of liberal women are secretly annoyed by this casting decision. You see, they might support, the left, but seeing a man take this role feels like a betrayal. Nobody wants to see their history turned into a costume for someone else's social media brand, and it doesn't matter how many pronouns you use. You're now the 16th century queen, and this is not about talent or art. It's about pushing a woke agenda into the general public, okay? So Broadway shows usually attract a pretty specific far-left crowd who will cheer for anything. Even so, this move is a bridge too far for anyone with a shred of common sense. Now, people are asking which casting choices are worse for historical accuracy at this point in time, and we're seeing a complete breakdown of reality in the name of DEI, okay? It's honestly the worst, of both worlds when you mix politics with historical drama. Okay, so as you all know, I have zero interest in heading to New York to see this circus performance, where some people suggest, going just to see how bad it actually is in person. I haven't seen the Nutcracker, and that was a classic show for a lot of people, but even that can be a bit too much if it's too long. This new Broadway show sounds like a total nightmare compared to a traditional ballet, okay? So honestly, the Nutcracker is at least, a particular tradition that a lot of people understand, you see. But unlike this stunt with Dylan Mulvaney, now I remember seeing it, in New York and thinking Dylan Mulvaney wouldn't fit in that world. And you have to go see something like that at least once, but Dylan Mulvaney is not art. Performers in the ballet aren't trying to rewrite biology like Dylan Mulvaney is doing on Broadway. Now, culture used to mean beauty, but now it's just a vehicle for Dylan Mulvaney at this point. Okay. So there's also, other productions like Beauty of the Beast long before, Dylan Mulvaney appeared. Okay. So a lot of people saying it was a solid show with the cool set. Now the gimmick for Dylan Mulvaney, and everything was going fine until the transformation, which didn't involve, in Dylan Mulvaney at all. Okay. So people back then wanted talent, not the kind of social media fame that Dylan Mulvaney has. So if Dylan Mulvaney were the prince, the crowd would probably have reacted even worse than they did. Okay. So the entire crowd actually started laughing at the supposedly, handsome prince because he looked like Meatloaf. Now, people were shouting for the actors to change him back into the Beast immediately. It ruins the whole fairy tale when the transformation is a massive letdown for the audience, and the women in the crowd were also disappointed, of course, but because they expected some sort of leading handsome man. And that's the risk that you take when you try to sell a specific image, even including Dylan Mulvaney. Okay. So many people say the same thing about the Disney movie when the prince finally appears, where the Beast is usually more charismatic than the human version of the character at the end. Now, women get their minds set on the monster and don't care about the prince. It's a weird dynamic, but at least that story stays within the realm of fantasy. Broadway is now trying to force a different kind of fantasy on us as reality. Okay. Now imagine being, that actor and making your big entrance only to have the crowd turn on you. It has to be brutal to hear the whole room of people laughing at your face. That prince probably felt like the garbage when the audience started booing his big reveal, but at least that was a cast mistake based on looks, not an ideological statement. What Mulvaney is doing is much more calculated and annoying than a bad-looking prince. Okay, so yeah, I never saw the play of the Nutcracker. I'm glad I only saw the abridged version of it because the full show is hours long. Nobody has the attention span for 4 hours of ballet music and dancing these days. 45 minutes is the perfect amount of time to get some culture and head home. So you get the highlights, you hear the famous songs, and you don't lose your whole Saturday. So it's better than just sitting through a woke musical about a beheaded queen that's being played by a man. Okay, so basically everyone should experience theater once in a while, but you won't find truth in what Dylan Mulvaney is doing. It's good to see high level art, but Dylan Mulvaney is just a political statement. What's happening in New York right now is not culture. It's just Dylan Mulvaney seeking attention. So we need to get back to, actual culture that doesn't rely on Dylan Mulvaney for relevance. Okay, so I'm staying far away from any stage that actually thinks Dylan Mulvaney is a queen. Okay, so basically the theater world has lost its mind, and I'm not funding Dylan Mulvaney or his career. If they want to cast a man as queens, then Dylan Mulvaney can play to empty rooms. Now the rest of us will stick to like the reality instead of the world that Dylan Mulvaney wants. And it's also a sad state of affairs when Dylan Mulvaney is the face of historical theater. Now Broadway used to be the gold standard, but now it's just another playground for Dylan Mulvaney. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Be sure to smash the like button, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, peace.